Hello, friends. I hope you are comfortably seated as we continue to uncover our spiritual code VIP. And as a reminder, VIP is V for vision, I for inspiration, and P for provision. So it's the secret of success. What made the heroes of faith in the past. And I hope during this series, we'll be able to make each of us also a VIP in all areas of our life, especially in the spiritual domain. So today we are going to continue to talk about the first element of our code. That is to say, that of V as vision. The question then was already asked, how can one identify one's vocation? How can one grasp the vision of who we really are, of our true self? And so in our last meditation, we talk about the spiritual dimension, that is to say, our position in Christ. So we want to address today this same vocation, this dimension of vision, but in the natural. It means, in other words, how this vocation is declined, how it is revealed, how it materializes in the natural. That is to say, what men see, which makes it possible to indicate that this is your vocation. And to answer that, I'm going to invite you to a few words of Jesus in Luke chapter 16, verse 10 to 12, that I'm going to read to you. And it is written, "He who is faithful in small things is also faithful in great things. And he who is unjust in the smallest things is also in the great. If therefore you have not been faithful in unjust riches, who will entrust the real ones to you? And if you have not been faithful in what belongs to others, who will give you what is yours?" So we therefore retain two things. There's the first thing, that means somebody has to give you what is yours. And we found out in the last meditation that it is actually Christ. It is God who knows what is yours, who reveals your identity, your true identity. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that for this to be manifested in the natural, this calling will manifest itself and be released for you by your faithfulness to what belongs to others. This is what that verse translates us to. I think that's pretty clear. We take a few examples. You have Joshua. Joshua was destined to be the leader of the people of Israel after Moses. But now, how did that manifest in the natural? We saw his faithful service, his committed service to the cause that Moses supported. For example, if you also take even a case like David, David was called to be king, that is, the shepherd of Israel. We could also already identify in the natural by his care, the care that he had. He faithfully took care of his father's sheep, even to the risk of his own life. Imagine a young boy who is going to attack a lion, a bear, because he wants to defend his sheep. I believe we can also see it translated even the prophet Elisha, who was to be a prophet in the place of Elijah. We already see it was indicated in the natural. We already see those few signs, those indicators by service, how he could faithfully plow a furrow when he plowed his father's field. And so, what can we say in summary? How is our destiny, our vocation sometimes determined? I believe that one can conclude from the elements that we had there, that our vocation, how is it determined? How does it translate? It is firstly through our excellence, then faithful, then thirdly our selfless service that we freely give back to others. So our excellent service, because it's not just anything, faithful service, selfless service, and free service that we give to others. When we see this, we can already have indication of the vocation that is ours, or that of someone who is next to us. So there you have it. I'll just take a small concrete example before ending, which is, for example, marriage. When you go into marriage and choose your spouse, how do you know that that's what you're called to do? That is your spouse? That is really your life there? If you take away, for example, the physical attractiveness of the person, the material possessions, if you take away the prestige that goes around, and what have you, is there something that you will cling to? If you have that thing, I believe you can already choose and see if your marriage really is what you have now, or what you're planning to have, or what you're called to be. So before we leave, I will let you ponder on this question that I'm going to ask you before we part ways. It is, in what, to what, and to whom are you faithful? If you have the opportunity to think about this. In what, to what, and to whom are you loyal? If you find an answer to that, I believe you can find an answer to know what is your true calling. just from the natural. So stay with us. I believe with all of my heart that the best is yet to come. In the meantime, may the Lord shower his blessings upon you. Shalom.